Welcome to Bear Mountain. We're giving another instructional video today. Today we're talking about our pre-soaking process for ranunculus. A lot of people have different varieties of ways they do it. This is a way that was originally passed on to us from our supplier, and for the most part it's worked pretty well for us. We put an additional twist into it though, because one of the things with soaking ranunculus is they come in a dormant state where they're essentially dried out, and they're going to puff up quite a bit. But during that period of time while they're absorbing water, they need oxygen. And so one of the things that we did to modify it in order to get enough oxygen continuously flowing through the 3 to 4 hour soaking process, we had this old aquarium pump with some air stones. These are real cheap. You can get them for a couple of bucks at a pet store. And what this does is we put 2 of these larger ones on the bottom and then 2 of them on the side. And this keeps constant air circulating into the water itself. At first we were a little skeptical as to whether that would really make a difference at all. But what we found was when we did that we had almost 100% germination or pre-sprout with very little or actually no rot at all. Many times in the past we'd have a little gray powdery mildew on some corms and we'd have to discard them. But in this case, the last time through with doing this method, we had no problems whatsoever. So what we're going to do here is start the demonstration process. It's pretty simple. We're going to take 2 of the larger air stones, and as soon as I untangle my cords, and we just simply have a 5-gallon bucket. You could use a Homer bucket, whatever. This one just happened to be an old detergent bucket. We'll put 2 of these guys in the bottom. And then what we'll do is we put all our ranunculus corms in mesh sacks, so that way the water and the air can flow through it without having any problems at all. So we just stack these guys in here. In this particular case this is our second planting for this season so far. We're going to have 3 in total. These are all for hoop houses, and the last 3rd one will be planted in the field. We'll do this same process again near the end of January, and those field planted ones will not quite be as tall, but they will be longer lasting, and we'll be able to get blooms well hopefully into the early part of June, which for us in our climate gives us about an extra month of harvest. Okay, once we have the bags in, then what we do is we take these 2 shorter air stones. This is all hooked to the same pump, and we just put those guys into the side so it's about halfway down. So once we fill this with water, what is going to happen is we're going to have air flowing from underneath and air flowing off to the sides. This is the slowest part of the whole process. We only soak our corms for 3, possibly 4 hours. It kind of depends on how well hydrated they are. Once we've soaked them and we bring them out of the water soak, we don't use any any fungicides or anything of that nature to prevent rot. We follow basically a natural system in a sense, and if we notice it, and when we're packing these things into peat and perlite, that if we see anything that is rot or doesn't look right, it'll kind of show up at that point, and we'll discard those corms before we even pack them. So this is a great opportunity to look at what we're trying to do here, and our purpose of our videos is help you understand when we say things in an Instagram post or on a blog entry, so that you can kind of get now a visual of what we're actually doing. Okay, we're about half full at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to start up the air pump, get her plugged in. This is a variable speed air pump, so it can be set high or low, and we're going to set it at kind of the highest level. And you want to make sure that when you do pack your corms in, that you're not overpacking, because these will expand. And so if you leave your corms packed all the way to the top, the chances are the very top ones will be pushed out of the water by the expansion of the ones underneath. So it's kind of important that even though you can think you can get more dried in there, you have to kind of think about it from the standpoint of what are they going to look like once they're pumped up and basically being almost twice their size. So we'll fill this bucket pretty much all the way to the top. Make sure they're under the water. And there we go. She's filled up. Now I just kind of make certain that we got the air out of the bags so that they don't float too much. As you can see, they're well under the water. We'll come back at about 4 hours, and they should be ready for packing for pre-sprout. Now what we do when we pack for pre-sprout, we'll show a little bit of video of that too, but it's really pretty simple. It's a 50% perlite, coarse perlite with 50% damp peat moss. We pack them in the same mesh bags, and we put them in a cool place at about 55 degrees, 60 degrees for about 10 days. And at that point, when you begin to pull them out, you'll see the little white roots. Here we are with elegant salmon, Ranunculus, pre-sprouted. These guys have been held at 55 degrees for about 10 days. As you can see, they've got great root systems on them. I'm going to get these ready to plant, and they'll be basically sprouting up in probably less than 2 weeks at this rate.